day, despite stark warnings from his top law enforcement officials. Joining us now is CNN national security commentator, former chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, former official at the FBI as well, Mike Rogers. Thanks so much for being with us, Mr. Chairman. So, put yourself back in the FBI. If you're in the FBI leadership, if you're Christopher Wray, you wake up this morning and you read that statement from President Trump that says top leaders at the FBI and Justice have politicized things in favor of Democrats. What's going through your head?
Well, I mean, it's certainly not a great day. And if something bad happened before and it deserves to be looked at, certainly the IG, the Department of Justice Inspector General, is looking at some of those issues, then that's what we ought to say. To say that the current leadership, remember, the leadership in the FBI turns over, fairly significantly. It's an up or out kind of an organization when you get into the leadership level of the Bureau. And so to condemn all of those folks who are making decisions on, organized crime cases in New York City and Chicago and Miami and other places, or counterintelligence cases all across the country, or terrorist cases all across the country, those are the leadership positions of the FBI. And I just wish the president would hold his fire on that, because you're condemning the lot of them, and I think that's really unproductive.
What do you think Chris Wray does, the current FBI director, when he reads that this morning? Does this steel his spine, or does this make him think, I don't feel like being besieged for the next months?
I hope not. He needs to stay. He needs, the FBI needs some consistency at the top. And you know what? There's other disagreements along the way, and it just happens, and it's okay. Not every instance is we take our toys and go home when it comes to quitting. I know there was a rumor he was going to quit over something else a month ago about the Andy McCabe deal a month ago. I would stop saying we're going to quit and start saying, hey, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to make my commitment to the FBI to make sure it's the finest law enforcement agency and continues to be the finest law enforcement agency in the world.
The issue might not be Christopher Wray taking his toys and going home. It might be the president sending Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein home with no toys at all, right? I mean, this tweet, this message could be directed squarely at him. We know the president has been complaining about the Deputy Attorney General, the person who appointed the special counsel and who has oversight over the special counsel's investigation. Jerry Nadler, ranking member of the House Judiciary, said he's read the memo, and his biggest concern is it will be used to push him out. Chairman.
Well, I mean, this is a concern. So if you really believe that there is something that a group of agents conspired with Department of Justice to purposely mislead the judge in a FISA court, that is a serious charge, and including and up to perjury. You can perjure yourself on an application for a warrant in the FISA court. That's pretty serious. My argument would be, then let's find the right venue for that to be investigated. Twitter is probably not the best place to do that, and a memo that doesn't have all of the information for people to make a good decision is probably the other place I wouldn't do it.
You were the House Intel chair. The current House Intel chair is Devin Nunes. What is Devin Nunes doing? I mean, would you have put together a memo based on your talking points, based on classified intelligence?
Boy, look at the time. Isn't there a commercial break we're supposed to get to?
No, you have to answer this. I mean, you are a perfect person. You've lived in his shoes. You've walked in his shoes. Yeah. So what's happening?
Well, I'm not exactly sure why they would pick this route. There are other ways that you can make your point if you're worried about this. And my point here is, if you're really worried that there was some bad behavior, or matter of fact, maybe even criminal behavior in the application of that FISA warrant, there are other ways to do it. And at least by all appearances, a partisan investigation and release of selective information is not the way to do it. If you really want to conduct oversight of the community, then it has to be joint, and it has to be thorough, and it has to be accurate. Remember, I'm always suspect, even as an FBI guy, of government abuse, right? I can take your liberty and I can take your character if I'm not careful. And I think the FBI can do some bad things, and has along the way. I mean, for the vast majority of the cases and the agents, they're the best really the world has to offer. So every once in a while, one screws up. Okay, got it. So let's make sure that doesn't happen again. But same with Congress. If you're going to go after someone's character or liberty, you better be right. And you don't do it by parsing out a political argument in a memo that clearly, I think by the intelligence services and the FBI and other members are saying doesn't reflect the whole picture. So I'm not exactly sure what they want to accomplish. If they want to accomplish oversight in a committee that's designed, to be classified and be able to get all of that classified information, I would argue this is not the way to do it.
Look, you're clearly uncomfortable criticizing directly a successor to you. I understand that at all. I think if you read what you just said very, very carefully, it's clear where you stand in that. You call it a partisan effort. What about Paul Ryan here, though, the Speaker of the House? Doesn't he have a role if what you're saying is true? Should not he have put a to this?
Well, I mean, normally I think the Speaker gives lots of latitude to his chairman, and I think that's the right way to do it. You know, the Congress is supposedly a chairman-driven body, because that's where the details on legislation and other things are designed and hammered out, and hopefully you work that out with the other team. But I would just be cautious to all of them to use this as the club to say that all of the FBI or all of FBI leadership is somehow corrupt or they lean for one party or the other party. They're using little bits and pieces and jumping to conclusions. I mean, I'm starting to believe that's the only exercise we're getting around here is leaping to conclusions. Okay, I couldn't resist.
Good
Sorry.
for the quads. You still need to do a core workout beyond that.
On that
I'll be here all
note-
week, so don't forget to tip the waitresses.
Bump.